with them, that you know them and they know you, and that you can trust what they're telling you. Okay, so I want you to remember what Gary Keller always says about being the local economist of choice. We are going to fly through some information just to remind you, if you're new, it may be too fast. If you're old in the business, let me just clarify how I'm using these words. It may be, just a refresher for you, but the idea is to think about and talk about how we can get listings now. Where are they hiding? How do we get people off the fence? And then still my favorite phrase to talk about right now came from someone at the NAR convention in May of 2021. At stake is being the first contact for homeowners thinking of selling their home, something we as agents used to take for granted. So we played the brand awareness game forever. When they got ready to sell, they picked either someone from their neighborhood or someone from their church or someone from their baseball team. They just picked which realtor do they know. Now they're getting, right, offers in their mailbox, offers on text, offers on the radio. Did any of you get a postcard from Open Door to agents? Well, and did you get one like yesterday or the day before to agents? Good. Me too. Okay. Me too. Suddenly they're realizing, oh shoot, they may need agents, which is fun. I'm enjoying that. Redfin now, right, is all over the news because they're closing their operations. Okay. Here's the thing though, as we think about this, we all want it to go back to the way it always was. Yay! Zillow quit buying homes. Woohoo! And Redfin now quit buying homes. Woohoo! They're going to call us and they can't wait for us to come on a listing appointment. How many of you think that's the truth? You know what I think. Right? I don't think what sellers are demanding is going to change. Sellers are now demanding easy just like we are. Same thing. So we need to decide how are we going to be the first point of contact if they're thinking of selling. Y'all know I'm the broker for several offices. One of my favorite stories to tell that I don't think I've told y'all is it's a horrible story. So let me start by saying it's horrible. We had a listing in downtown Dallas, and an agent and two clients walked out on the second floor deck and fell through. It actually is a horrible story. It's very tragic. They're very injured. They'll be injured for the rest of their lives. It is a horrible thing. The part of the story that's relevant to what we're talking about is that when I went to the house and met with the seller and our listing agent just to kind of understand what had happened, it became clear to me that the listing agent and the sellers were friends. They had known each other. They'd been on a trip together. It was clear they were very good friends. Here's how this unfolded. We're talking about them filing a homeowner's insurance claim, and this is the part of the listing agreement that says that. And the seller goes, well, gosh, I had that inspection Zillow did. And our agent goes, what? Okay, these are friends, been on a trip together. He says, you have what? I said, well, yeah, before I did anything else, I got an offer from Zillow. And I have that inspection. It didn't show anything about the deck. And you could watch he's a wonderful young man. You could watch his face just get kind of pale. I said, you didn't call me first. Well, no, it was a good offer. So then they came and did an inspection. But then they took a whole lot off the price, so we didn't close with them. Then he called you. What are you so? Like they completely didn't even get it. But do you know why I'm telling you this story? Right? These were very good friends who did not call their friend, the real estate agent, first. He almost lost a transaction with his very dear friend. He didn't even know was doing a transaction. Right? So I want you to understand what we're fighting. We're also fighting this. These headlines are just from the last couple days. Housing recessions. Does the housing recession, that's a given. You notice how in that headline, does the housing recession tell us anything about the prospects of an actual recession? Well, they're acting like a housing recession is a given. How far will home prices fall? How much do you love that headline? What in the hell are you talking about? I wanted to send an email and say, where do you live? You need to move. Need to be moving, right? And then the reason that all the headlines are so negative always, and of course we've learned all this in the last few years with all the bots and all that kind of stuff, right? People don't click on, oh, it's going to be a wonderful day. We don't click on that. None of us do. And so they post negative crap because that's what we click on. And unfortunately, then what we get more of is negative crap because that's what we click on. Right? So your consumers, the people in your world, are getting this same stuff. So what are you doing to fight that off? Because they are most certainly pulling in if this is what they're reading every day. Right? All right. So I just want to remind you that there are always people who need to move. Always. There are always people who want to move, for whom this is the best time of their life. There's a home near me where the person in the home repossesses cars, fancy cars, Bentleys and Rolls. I mean, you drive by and it's like a Bentley, a Rolls, a this. When they first moved in, I thought they were selling drugs. Somebody literally, this is the conversation with the neighbor. Well, I think they own an outdoor lighting store. They do not own an outdoor lighting store and drive a Bentley, a Rolls, and a Ferrari. What drugs are you on? The ones they're selling up here. Because that's that, right? Okay. If that was the economics, we'd all own an outdoor lighting store. So we know that's not the truth. But what they do is they repossess luxury vehicles. How do you think their business is doing right now? Amazing. Booming. Absolutely booming. How the next 6 months going to be for them? Booming. Do you think they might want to buy or sell real estate? Great time for them, right? They're rolling in the dough. So, do people still get divorced? Do people still have babies? So, first I want to tell you that I completely agree with Gary Keller when he says in a shift, which we're definitely in a shift, you find the motivated. So how do you find the motivated? So first off, we're going to talk just a little bit about who are sellers and just show you some stats. And the reason I would start this way is because this helps you talk to people with some sort of knowledge and expertise. One of my favorite things to say is, when people ask you, oh, and right now they are all are going to ask it this way. Oh, how is it in the place? Aren't they? They're all going to hang their head back there. Oh, how is it? Well, it's great. Just went to a class about how people moved so far this year, and they all seem to move in state. That's a national number. These are national numbers. It's not because everybody just loves Texas. I know that's what you'd like to think. This is every state. They just stay in their home state and move. Okay. Proximity to homes purchased, adult composition of home seller households. Right. Most of them are married. Lots of single females. When you get into buyers, we're seeing the single female category just boom. Primary reason for selling a home. Maybe this is something you ought to know, right? It changed dramatically, right? Let's go down and look at job relocation and want to move closer to current job. Where do you think those used to be on this chart? At the top. That's exactly right. People just aren't doing that anymore. They aren't moving to be closer to their job, and if the job relocation is not somewhere they want to go, they're not going. Those days are just gone. So it's interesting to know how to talk to your sphere in a way that speaks to them, because it probably isn't about their job. On your buyer needs analysis, the number one question that was always asked was, well, where do you have to go to work? Oh, maybe 3 days a week. So, I mean, the answers just changed completely. So be aware. And then very interesting to me that 51% of sellers said they needed to sell urgently or somewhat urgently. That goes back to the conversation of divorce still happens, death still happens, job loss still happens, having a baby still happens, getting a great promotion still happens. So when people need to sell, they feel urgent about it. Don't be afraid to be their person. So how do you be the economist of choice? I'm going to show you a lot of sources because I want you to communicate with your sphere in a way you haven't before. So here's the thing. I know you don't want to call your database and they don't want to answer the phone when you say, do you know anybody who wants to buy, sell, or invest in real estate today? They're not going to answer you next time. I'm sorry. I'm beating on gold here for a minute. I love gold. I actually love gold, but I don't love that part. Because if you call me and you say, do you know anybody who wants to buy, sell, or invest in real estate today? I'm blocking your number. And I don't care if you're my sister. That is not helpful to me. That's not interesting to me. It is not of value to me. I couldn't care less. Get away from me. I am moving at 1,000,000 miles a minute, aren't y'all? Do you have time to talk to someone who says, do you know anyone who'd like to buy, sell, or invest in real estate today? Okay. So that's why I would tell you to learn your sources of data and to not be afraid to use it. They don't want to talk to you because they play bunco with you. They may even think you're stupid. The biggest, because you play bunco with them and you know how you act. Not like the smartest business person they ever met. And then you're shocked when they don't think you're the smartest business person they ever met. The biggest challenge I had in my career, starting my real estate career, was that I was a wonderful PTA mom. I had it completely wrong. I got my license because I knew everybody in town at that time, and they all liked me. This is what I believe to be true. Number one, that didn't exactly turn out to be exactly the truth. But I thought that was all I needed. You know what they thought when they got ready to buy or sell a home? Well, Anne's really cute. She's really nice. She seems great. But Kurt and Darla Bueller, they've been in the business 20 years. We should call them. Because guess who could handle the biggest financial of their investment of their life better? It wasn't cute little Anne who took their money at the book fair. As it turned out, that wasn't correct thinking. And I just had to learn the hard way. I lost some business because I was nice and involved and all community minded. Woo, when you think of real estate, think of Anne. Oh, we're going to think of Anne and think, well, she's nice. And then we're going to move on to somebody smarter. So how do you be sure in this kind of an uncertain market? I'm telling you that and making fun of myself, but what I want you to hear me say is these are uncertain days. Who are you going to call? Are you going to call the sweetest, kindest, nicest, cutest little bunco girl you know? Or are you going to call somebody in real estate who's got some teeth, who knows how to get the deal done, who knows how to act like a professional? So as I roll through all these stats, I want you to think about social media posts. I want you to think about emails. I want you to think about bomb videos. Has everybody here posted that they're in this class today? You should, right now, this minute, do it. What do you think your sphere is hearing from you if they aren't hearing that you're trying to get better? Oh, look, she's taking a picture. Yeah.
Well,
Well, no, not at me. Of each other. No, of yourself. Yeah, no, that won't go well. Pictures of me won't go well. But anyway, I just want you to realize why we're talking about stuff. Don't glass over. Pick a few. Okay. So days on market, this is realtor.com. I like this graph better than the Netris graphs. This is a national graph. It's also really pretty, isn't it? It has a lot of pretty colors. If you're going to post on your Facebook, this is available to you. Do it. Instagram, Reels, I don't care what you're doing, right? Do you see our line right now for days on the market also, just to sell you on how great it is to sell your house right now? Do you see it? It's the yellow line. For October, was it high or low? It's the yellow line. You really can't see it?
No, that's why you have it for it? No, it's low.
It's low. Because this is the yellow line. Do you see the blue line and the red line and the orange line? Are they way higher than the yellow line? Okay, that's about all you need to know. I mean, it's not brain. We're not rocket scientists or neurosurgeons, and I hate to break it to you. All this, I mean, it's really just that simple. Where's the yellow line? Oh, it's low. All right. Make sure you understand. So, right, the Fed is raising the rate. They say they're going to keep raising the rate. That is not mortgage rates. I'm so worried about us as professionals. Smiling. Some of you have heard this talk before. I'm worried about us as professionals because we need to know that. So the graph on the right, the red is the 30-year mortgage rate and the blue is the Fed rate. They do not always follow each other. And I suspect that they're not going to follow each other. Last time the Fed funds rate went up, Jeremy, what happened in the next couple of days after that?
Rates went down.
Mortgage rates went down. Are you aware of that? Just a look. And you got to be watching for these little subtleties along the way. The Fed, well, I'm just going to give you Anne's economic talk. I think they're about as dumb as a rock right now. Because the reason for inflation, in my personal opinion, is supply side. I feel like they don't understand supply and demand. We have supply prices all over the place. I don't know if y'all go to the grocery store and can buy every single thing on your list, but I cannot. I go and they don't have what I want. Chili garlic sauce. Have y'all looked for that little red thing? They don't have it anywhere. Why are we having a chili garlic crisis? But if you live in the world, which apparently our politicians do not, you know that we have supply side problems. So when chili garlic comes back, I don't care if it's $100 a bottle, I'm getting myself some. That, ladies and gentlemen, is supply and demand. That's what's hurting the economy. So they're just going to keep pushing these rates up. It is my fear that they're going to push these rates to the moon and have very little impact. So I want to be sure you know that the Fed does not set mortgage rates. Those rates that they're setting directly impact short-term loans like credit cards, CD rates, car loans, right? That's what's impacted. Mortgage rates are also impacted by demand from consumers. There are plenty of mortgage companies that are going to do what they have to do to have closings. They're not going to like it. They're going to hate their profit margin. Welcome to my world, right? We're all going to do what we have to do to get to closing. So you have to make sure you're in business with some of those people who are going to be aggressive, who are going to get the job done because they want to hang around until this crap is over. But it's not about Fed funds rate. If you go out and believe that because you saw a headline that said Fed raises rates, that means mortgage rates are going up, you're just wrong. And you're going to be out there talking to people at an open house or a ball game, and they're going to know right away that you're not very smart about real estate. Because that is not the truth. All right, median listing price. This is a beautiful chart. This is a national chart. Once again, October 2022 is yellow. It's at the very top. It feels to us like prices are going down. So I'm going to show you something really interesting. You can see when prices started to go down in Netris. Can't you? Can you see that graph? I guess I don't understand. You might need to just move up if you can't see it, because I don't have another way to do it. Right? It started, right? We can see when it started going down. Median sales prices from same time last year are up 11.04%. That is a stat you need to know. So don't be coming to me telling me prices are down. Garbage. Same month last year, we are up 11%. That's the truth of the matter. That's the evidence. You need to be able to respond. When people do need to move right now and they're feeling uncertainty, the best gift you can give them is certainty. These are the facts.
And you can go in, I told for our meeting on Tuesday, our numbers, just like our MLS, January through it was November 7th, from last year to this year, and I was like, they are up. I mean, like literally like 60,000. I was like, oh, huh, yeah. And so, I mean, you can go in and do that on your numbers and look at your year over year numbers, and I would be surprised if yours aren't up, because ours were up a lot.
Yeah, thank you for that. Good. Yes. I mean, we just need to be sure that we're not letting the media and all the hype that we're hearing and the shoulder slumping is, oh, how is it in real estate? We need to not let that be getting us, you know? We need to be stronger than that with our data. So I thought I would stop and show you the other thing that's a truth, right? Prices are seasonal. I know some of you have your best month ever in October every year. You have your best month ever every year in December. That's great. I'm happy for you. Prices are seasonal, 100% seasonal. Every year prices are highest in May and lowest in October. Every year. Don't ever tell anybody else, anything else. It is a seasonal business. Nationally, it is a seasonal business. It is certainly a seasonal business here because of why? Who are home sellers here in our area?
College professors.
Families. Oh, thank God I got the answer right.
I was gonna whisper it.
But yeah, it's families, right? That's who lives around us, families. They got kids. So are they seasonal in their moving? Say yes. We're probably one of the most seasonal markets in the United States. Don't be fooled by how it feels right now. It feels this way every year. Every year people call to list their home on October 1st, and I just want to roll my, where the hell were you? Really? You want to call me now? You couldn't call me in April? What is wrong with you? I mean, like literally, do you not know? Or can you not hold on till April? Well, we're going to kill each other. Okay, well then the answer is no, you can't hold on. But it's just a fact, okay? It's just a fact. So don't be alarmed by how it feels right now. It's very custom.
But that's not something we're gonna say to our clients. You need to, we're not gonna say that today.
Not right now,
Right,
today.
yeah, we'll make sure.
Not right now, today, but
Here,
what
you say that.
part of what I'm doing is I'm selling you,
Right.
right? I'm changing your mindset around why are these prices going down? Prices are going down. Oh my gosh. How's real estate? Well, prices are going down. The right answer is, well, actually, we're just having an October. They're not down any more than they are customarily. I know what you read in the media, right? Negativity bias is alive and well on the internet. How would a headline get clicked on that says, it's just a regular October? No one is clicking that headline. It's just a regular October in the real estate market. No one is clicking it. So they're telling you it's gloom and doom, right? These are great stats to know. In October, it took 10 showings to reach pending. 10. They can probably suck it up and put that dog outside 10 times. Come on. Did y'all know that you can tell that? Okay, so we're going to be moving probably to a new showing service. Some of you have been getting all these, well, I'm going to rephrase this. All of you who've been getting emails, some of you have actually paid attention. Congratulations. It is also going to be tied directly into Metris so that you can get this exact kind of information. You can also get information about if your listing is getting the most showings or the least showings for your price point. It's going to be really pretty cool. But this, to me, is something I would be posting on. I would do a bomb video about it. I would just, hey, you guys out there who are reading all the gloom and doom, by the way, in October, it took 10 showings to reach pending status. And that's you getting a price that's 11% higher than you could have gotten a year ago. You're welcome. Call me if you need me. And it's not even a minute.
Thank you.
But if I'm calling people to tell people that good news, then at the end I get to say, so if you do know anybody who's in a situation where they have to sell, it's actually not all bad out here. Let me know how I can help them. Do you know anybody who needs to buy, sell, or invest in real estate today? Many ways to ask them. But they won't know, they won't think of you if you aren't calling them because they're hearing it on the radio, they're getting in their mailbox, so you've got to be talking to them. All right. More choices, that's true. Inventory is up. Still down 34% from 2019.
Those are local stats.
Yep, this is Metris. Down 34% from 2019. We are nowhere near normal inventory. I'm going to show you another really cool way to tell that. This is NAR's housing shortage tracker. Because a housing shortage, okay, right? You have got to know this is true. We do not have as many rooftops as we have households being formed. Or you have to know that. It's just a fact. We are way behind. Millions of homes, 3 million rooftops behind. Dallas-Fort Worth is critically behind. A new single-family unit permit is issued for every 5 jobs created in Dallas-Fort Worth. 1 house for every 5 jobs. Now, let's talk again about prices and where we think they're going. 1 new rooftop created for every 5 jobs. Where do you think prices are going? Up. Is there any evidence that they're going to really go down dramatically? In our market, it's hard to validate that. Now, will it decelerate? That's my new favorite word. It's slowing down. How much it goes up is slowing down. That is not a crash. I think this is super cool. You pay those dumb NAR dues, you might as well get something for it. I haven't seen anybody posting this, talking about it on BombBomb. Nothing. I'll go. All the gloom and doom can be overcome by great staff. I also, if you're still in love with open houses and you're having good luck with those, I would have this printed in a frame, right? It's not about your cookies. It's about some of this, what do you, except in Rebecca's case. And then it actually is about her cookies. Y'all don't know that she's the most amazing baker on the planet. That's just your loss. She is, in fact, the best baker on the planet. But you should put it like between the sinks in the master bedroom. What are they thinking about when they're in there? Why are you putting information that makes your open house different from everyone else's? Right? This kind of info is cool. And it's not you responding to the media, it's you leading as an expert in your field.
And you're going to give us links to where we can find all this stuff.
I can, yes. I mean, you just need to Google NAR housing shortage track. Like it's really that simple.
Perfect.
This, I did send this presentation to Zoe and Rachel, so
Okay,
they work all the slides too.
Okay. Yay, thank you.
I mean, if we're talking about needing to stir and have things bubble to the top, what I want to do is just show you lots of ways to stir. You know, what info are you providing? This is a great article. It says Urban Land Institute. Ooh, okay, so slow down. Urban Land Institute and PricewaterhouseCoopers every year do a study, and they come out with all kinds of emerging trends that they see coming in real estate. There's a lot. It's really cool to read because I must be a boring person. I choose to read about real estate a lot in my free time, but also their top markets for overall real estate prospects in 2023. Dallas-Fort Worth is number 2. Woohoo! So housing recession, how far prices gonna fall? Well, probably a lot less of that is true in the top 10 markets in the country. All right. I want you to think about your messaging. I love going out and finding what realtors are doing it right. Are you sure that you are letting people know that you can help them when they get a divorce? Are you sure they know? Almost all of them at least need a evaluation, right? They need some sort of a CMA or something. So if they're not coming to you, who did they go to? So this is the other, you know, they did, they know that, you know, they asked somebody. What about relocation? Job relocation is still a thing. Are you helping them? Inheriting a house. Time for a bigger house, right? I love, you can't really see the visual up in the top, but it's a woman. She's just all cramped in a little tiny box. Some of those visuals are fun for the message that you're putting out. Instead of, do you know anybody who might like to buy, sell, or invest in real estate today? And then just knowing that right now home builders are wanting to get rid of their inventory, and new construction can attract sellers. If you talk about there are good deals out there to be had with builders, if you're going to look and talk to me first, because I know where the best deals are. Number one, that needs to be true. So whatever it is you're doing for the next week during work hours, one of the things you ought to be doing is talking to builders, finding out who has deals that you can talk about. I think energy efficiency is becoming more and more and more important to people. I think technology that's already wired into the home, these are updates they can't do. As an older owner of an older home, right? I know I can put in granite, I can put in amazing appliances. I will never fix the energy efficiency and technology in my home. I can't do that. So it is not true. It's not a fact that you can update your home good enough to compete with new. So new helps drive sales. Are you sure you're talking about that? Okay. Pre-foreclosure and how you talk about it. So I can remember a time in my real estate career where I just walked into every appointment, which I don't know how many of those. I would really just have conversations now, not listing appointments because people are resistant. But just in listing conversations, I would make sure that no matter who it is that I mention, that I'm helping some people who are struggling with their mortgage payment and how happy they are to be getting rid of their mortgage payment right now. I would say it all the time because I think those people are hiding. A lot of them are hiding from themselves. We have a lot of people who did some COVID forbearance, and now they're coming out of that forbearance and they're realizing, crap, I still owe that money. At some point, I'm still gonna have to pay that money. And so they're wanting to sell, but they kind of don't know what to do. So you need to make it easy. You need to protect their pride. This is just what you do. It's not a big deal. They don't have to call you and have like a Mother Teresa confessional. Oh my gosh, we're behind on our mortgage. I mean, this is what I do. If you got your license because you love people, it's worth it. I love the guy on the bottom left. And these days I would be offering an equity report, and I'm going to show you a cool way to do that. Not a CMA. We say CMA and home sellers don't know what that is, but if you offer me an equity report, I'm very interested in my equity. And I wouldn't use comparable properties because of course nothing is comparable to my property because my property isn't that, how many of you have been there? My favorite, Rebecca's heard me talk about marble block showers. That's when I knew I wasn't winning the war. Well, we paid to have marble block showers. Oh my God, those are still used showers. They do not have extra value on a CMA. Oh my God, somebody help me. So I got smart and that was just my favorite thing. Well, here's our list of upgrades, including marble block showers. Okay, ooh, it's still nasty. Appreciate it, unless you redid it and moved out, it is still your body that has been in that shower. Relevant. I mean, do you give extra value for marble block showers? Have you ever known a buyer walk in and go, I'll pay you $2,500 more because you have marble block showers? I mean, it's just not the truth. So I use relevant properties, not comparable properties. That allows me to bring in new construction comps, which are relevant to how much you can get when you sell. You're going to need to be a little cheaper than new construction in the area. So I like the word relevant properties, not comps. If they're interested in new, which we were talking about, if they're interested in remodel, they might be interested in new. This is an NAR report for 2022. Did y'all know you have this? There are some amazing things you could be toasting and talking about in terms of the value of which upgrades. The other thing I've liked for my whole life is the cost versus value report. This is it. This is it for Dallas, Texas. How much you're going to spend and how much you're going to get back out. It will tell you. So people call you, maybe if you get lucky these days, they're going to call you and say, well, I was thinking about remodeling or selling or what should I do? Don't just show up and give them an opinion. Well, I would definitely put granite. I would definitely. Why don't we, have some info? Please don't bring your clipboard anymore and walk through and tell them to clean the linen closet out. Well, you have to clean out your closet. Oh God, I'm so glad I called you. This is valuable information. A list of chores is just what I wanted. How about some stats, right? You have two places to get them. You can compare them. You can share them. They're free to you, every bit of this. This is really cool stuff in an open house too. It's cool stuff for an Instagram. It's cool, cool, cool. It's costversusvalue.com. And they do it every year and they have for years and years and years. I like that little postcard in the upper right. What if I can't afford to fix up the house before I sell? What are you saying to your sphere? I mean, you scare me if it's nothing, first off, because other people are talking to them nonstop. I mean, you have to be a lot of different messages to find those motivated people. I don't want to remodel my home, but I still found a few things on there and went, oh, that would be so fun. Maybe I should win, right? It's normal. How many of you have been in this business a long time and ever visited garage sales and estate sales? Yep, I see ya. We're back to it, aren't we? We're trying to find sellers. So that's what this class is get listings now. It's a great way There used to be an agent in Keller Williams who did yard sale kits. They did yard sale signs and bags with their logos on it for yard sales. And so then everybody started to call them before they had their garage sale. Oh my God, how brilliant is that?
But what did they do?
They gave the seller, the garage sale host, who we don't know that is selling. Maybe they don't even know yet. It's like our neighbor who's been working on his house nonstop and had a garage sale. I said, are you moving? He said, no. And I said, oh, you just don't know it yet. How can I help? He goes, have you been talking to my wife? I go, uh-huh, yeah. I'm a smart woman. You're moving. I hate it, but out you go. Love ya. She has you fixing up the house and having a garage sale. Your days are numbered. Let's start counting.
Well,
Bye-bye. Pick a good neighbor for me. And I don't sell real estate anymore, so I can't. But I mean, that's exactly how the conversation went. Was, so you've been painting and working on your house and you're having a garage sale. Did you know you're moving? Shoot, we're so sad. Okay, so what he did was he made signs, it was him, he made signs and bags with his logo on it and gave it to people as a yard sale kit. And he had information, he was in Flower Mound, he had information on like Flower Mound, Louisville, Highland Village rules for signs and stuff that he put in his little kit. It was quite smart, and we may be back to those days where this is the kind of stuff that'll get you listing leads. Okay. Unsolicited video CMAs. I love this. So one of the things that if I were a realtor today and that I want y'all to really think about is I would be doing wealth reviews with my best clients, my core clients. Amanda, this is something y'all should do. Wealth reviews with your best clients. I'm gonna look at their value of their home, the value of any rental properties they have. I'm gonna pull up what they could rent their current home for. I'm gonna pull up their taxes, and if their taxes are in line with everything else. I'm gonna have questions about their kids and their parents and their family situation. I'm gonna do just a little annual wealth review. It could be on Zoom for 15 minutes. But people annually talk to their attorney and their accountant. I don't know why they don't speak to their realtor every year. So what I'm at least gonna do is I'm gonna offer. So my October calls would always be to offer an annual wealth review because you're one of my top people in my real estate business. Because then what happens is people say, I'm one of your top people. How did I get to be one of your top people? Well, because you sent me a referral or because I know you're going to. Oh. And I really like, I do events and I do all kinds of things, but in this case, I just want to sit down and review how your real estate holdings are going and if you want to increase them or decrease them. And the people in your family as well. Real estate holdings. I have real estate I've had this exact conversation. I have real estate holdings. Well, yes, you're a homeowner. We clearly need to have the talk. Okay, you're in the need column. I thought I was just being nice, but now you have to do it. Oh, okay. All right. This is such a great thing to do for your top clients. Your people who are sending you referrals or who you want to get referrals from, which is a Google Earth CMA. There are tons of examples out on YouTube, but they record themselves talking about the comps and they hover over the comps on Google Earth and then they send the video. It is so cool. So much more than what anybody else is doing. Really awesome. Y'all say something. Is that overwhelming to think about?
I like that you're giving lots of options. So it's like, maybe this doesn't feel right to you, but this one does. And maybe, because to me, I think, I was talking to someone and I was like, okay, this is now the time where we need like a bunch of these, like you need every way under the sun to be able to find these, listing leads or buyer. I mean, we gotta find the people that are really gonna do something.
That's right.
So I like the opportunity of like, you may try all of them and you only like 3. Perfect. Use those 3, but just do something.
Do
You know,
something, that's
maybe-
right, and add to what you're doing.
Right.
So whatever you're doing now, you need to add to it. And so these are ideas to get your brain thinking, and to also, I want you to just speak a little differently when you're out and about, right? I think it's our job to make it okay for people to buy and sell real estate right now. The media is turning it into just gloom and doom, and those aren't the actual facts. So if people ask me how the real estate market is, I mean, they're sorry they asked. Oh, Lord, I am so glad you asked, because you know what? It is awesome. Selling prices right now are 11% higher than they were a year ago. Are you moving? And right now, my neighbor, he was painting and having a garage sale. He didn't know he was moving yet. He's moving. Are you doing a garage sale? And they're like, I am so sorry I asked her how the real estate market was. But I'm finding people, just even in my family and my friends, and because I'm responding with that kind of passion.
Well, and I don't think you even have to. What I like about this is like, even if you're just hearing parts of it, even if you don't fully understand it, you just need to know a few of those sentences. Like, here's this sentence, here's that sentence, like when you're fighting an appraisal. You need to know a few key ways to say a few things, and then you're fine. So you really don't need to know everything that she's saying. You just need to know key parts of it to be able to, because if you speak it with conviction, they just assume that you're right. You know what I mean? And I think that some of that is true.
I mean,
you can hear
that's
that
so
with-
awesome.
I
Yes.
think it's very true.
Well, and even like in recruiting agents or whatever, I never knew everything. I just had a couple things I really believed were true. And that's what I talked about. I just talked about 2 or 3 things. And I could draw you a business plan on that, and I still, if you tell me how much you want to make, I'll draw it on a napkin in about 5 seconds. I'm great at it. So, but that was my thing. I mean, you just need a couple things you're talking about right now. That's perfect. This is more information about equity. CoreLogic is one of my very favorite sources of information. It's just CoreLogic, CoreLogic.com, and they have a great blog. It's free. So I go to Keeping Current Matters. They charge you. They would love for you to subscribe. I don't pay for anything. They just have a great blog, and they put awesome stuff on it. Keeping Current Matters. I go to Atom Data, ATTOM, Atom Data. I go to Mike, it's Mike Del P, Mike Del Preet is his name, Preety, I guess, MikeDelPrete. And he's a professor at the University of Boulder, and his blog is really amazingly smart about real estate. And then I go to CoreLogic. Those are just my favorite sources for, and I do go to realtor.com quite a bit, honestly. But I didn't like to go out. I have used some Zillow stuff. I'll use some Redfin stuff because, they have good stuff sometimes. But I don't like to trust them. It's just a trust thing. These other companies, information is their sole business. They're not trying to sway the info one way or the other. These other companies are just information providers. So I like that. This is CoreLogic. They don't have Q3 out yet, but they will. The average Texas homeowner gained $54,000 in equity, and that's between 2021 and 2022, the same quarter, $54,000. My favorite way to say that is many of you earned more on your home than you did on your job. Do you need that money? A lot of you went to work every day and didn't earn $54,000. But you did on your house. So do you need that money out? I mean, that's a ton. Crazy to think you made more on your house than you did at your job. Woo! And I like talking about equity. Equity can pay off debt. mean, this has been my passion with my own nieces and nephews is, you know, if you have debt, if you bought the wrong car, or, you know, I have one nephew who bought a fabulous boat, I do enjoy riding on. But, you know, he probably needs to sell his house and live somewhere smaller for a year or two and pay it off. He's got some bad debt, or what I consider bad debt. He's got consumer debt. Pay for college, buy a bigger home, start a business, take a fabulous vacation. That equity that's sitting there, one thing you can take advantage of is their uncertainty. I'm not worried that they're going to lose all their equity, and I'm going to tell them that. I'm actually not worried about you losing all your equity. But if you're worried about it and you just are feeling the pinch and you want that money, let's go. It's a great day to sell. People respond to that. A lot of people feel a pinch. This is a cool thing. This is realtor.com. Cross market demand. So this is for Denton County. This is through the month of October. 28.4% of all views of Denton County listings were from out of state. So I'm going to read you the biggest. Biggest was Dallas County. Second biggest was Cook County, Illinois. Where's that? Chicago. Are you advertising your listings in Chicago? Because apparently they would like to move here. The data says, so when you're talking out there to people, how cool is it to be able to say, well, you know, for Denton County, the #2 search location, the people who looked for houses the most in Denton County, #2 is Chicago. Do you sound like you know what you're doing or what? #5, DeKalb County, Georgia. What's that? Atlanta. Outside of Atlanta. #6, Los Angeles. #7, New York. #9, Maricopa County. Honestly, I thought only people who live there cheated on elections. So I thought all the bad people had moved there and were taken on their ballots. But apparently the good people are moving. So great. They're coming to Denton County. Right. And then I don't know where Loudoun County, Virginia is.
That's up north, like it's not, I don't think it's DC, but it's like, is it in between, like, is it DC? It's around there. Here.
It's interesting. I mean, I wonder if there's like a bit, this kind of stuff, if you had the right research department that worked for you, which, you know, none of us really have, but there must be a business or something moving here. When you're talking to people and they can't decide whether to trust you to sell their home, right? A great stat is that on realtor.com, which is still a huge search, only 27% of the online searches came from within Denton. So if you're thinking you're going to use your sister who works at Joe Schmo Realtor and just got her license, it's going to hurt your exposure. Because Joe Schmo's Real Estate doesn't get their listings up the way we do. We have an international footprint of a network to help you sell. So the fact that only 27% of the views come from within the county is a negative to everybody but us. That's how I would talk about it. All right. And then of course, the minute you have a listing or a sale, you know there's 2 other people in the neighborhood thinking about doing it. That stat has not changed in years. That has been the correct stat. So they'll talk to you. Have you heard of circle prospecting? That's why. Why circle prospecting is so effective is because the minute there is a seller in a neighborhood, there's 2 others thinking about it, just instantaneously. And don't say it doesn't happen to you a little bit too, right? When you see your neighbor's sign go up, you go, oh, they're moving. That's fun. Okay. My favorite message is I have buyers stored up. I just don't know why I've always loved this dumb little squirrel guy. If I had a listing that sold, I would market it like crazy in that particular neighborhood. I would go back right now. I would go back all the way. I'd go back a full year and tell them I still have buyers stored up. There were way more buyers than there were sellers for this listing. So I have buyers stored up. If you did any sort of online advertising or had an open house or anything, it's true. The best advertising happens when it's true. You've got some clicks and you met people at an open house who haven't yet bought a home. Those are buyers stored up. The other thing is I do like the people peeking over the fence. Do you know what your neighbors did? I mean, these are all cute ways.
Did that once. And somebody in the pool.
Oh, you peered over the fence?
Showing a house. I looked over the fence and there was this woman sitting in her pool and she was like, hi. Turns out she's the listing agent.
Oh, so it was-
I can't get circling out.
oh my gosh, that's awesome. Well, just don't forget the power of any listing that you sold within the last year and re-communicating with that particular area to remind them that you sold in their neighborhood and that you still have buyers available. I'm all about making it easy. So this would be one of my favorite. I'm sorry, I'm just talking a million miles a minute, but I don't know any other way to do this other than vomit all over you and then we'll discuss. I love a 15-minute home consultation and offering it even by Zoom. Very non-intrusive, light. That is a very light touch. But it's still out of your sphere and out of the people that you've met. It still attracts the people who might be thinking at all about selling, right? It's a great, easy way to get them, I think. And this is how I would do it in 15 minutes. I would talk about the past, the present, the future, and any relevant properties in any micro market that exists, right? So we have neighborhoods, like I own quite a few rental properties in Watauga that is zoned for Keller ISD. Okay, that's a micro market. That's what that's called. It's Watauga that goes to Keller ISD. And so I would want to discuss that with anybody thinking to sell in there because that keeps their relevant properties a little smaller, a little tighter. But I love all of this language. Let's talk about the past, which today, how relevant is the past? Saying not at all. Well, you know, back in June, my neighbor got 1.6 million. Well, nobody cares. So, got to get control of the language. So, past, present, right? Present are your very best relevant properties. What has gone? Active, contingent, active, kick out, pending. So as a part of servicing a listing, some of you have forgotten how to service a listing that's on the market for a while. You should always be showing them what is active option, pending, active kick out, because that's what people chose instead of theirs. And you're going to have to figure out how to be that direct. Well, this house went, so they chose this house. It's yours. It's just the truth. Okay. I want you to really think about this. I think this is a really right now kind of offer. 15-minute home equity consult. Anybody that says they're interested at least has some thought about something. It's a little bit like painting and having a garage sale, except for he doesn't know. It's way quicker. And then what other things can you do to make listing easy? So short-term listing agreements. So I've never really quite understand. In my life, I'm never signing like a 6-month listing agreement unless I have a $20 million home. I mean, if I live on a postage stamp lot in Denton and you can't sell it in 6 months, that's just somehow we're not communicating, right? So how long do you really need them to be? How long do they need them to be? Safety and security, so knowledge of short-term rentals. Do you know how to help them go somewhere that's month to month? That accepts pets? Sometimes if you go around and say, well, this morning, I called places to just figure out who's still doing month to month and taking pets. And you know, I found 5 places. You did? I'm gonna tell my husband that. makes them feel safe. Right? Makes them feel safe. Do you want to offer free storage? Do you want to offer storage discounts? We have pods discounts through KW that are still alive and well. We have through NAR, we have a U-Haul at junk 1-800.
Gotcha.
Yeah, thank you. You just need the other half of my brain there for a minute.
Okay.
1-800 got junk. We have a discount with 1-800 got junk through NAR. Are you a lease back master? Because everybody that's going to sell is going to want to know they can stay for a little while. So do you know exactly what it says? Who pays for what? What condition is the home? Are they promising to leave the home in when they leave? Can you talk to them about to ease them onto the market, right? And then do you want to offer something? If they list with you, you're going to have their lawn mowed once a week. You're going to offer some pet daycare. I don't know. I think it's a great time, just my opinion, but for 7%, 6%, 5%. What do I get if I do 8%? Because you know what? People pay for what they want. Don't tell me they don't, because I'm living this life, right? How many of you have been to Marty B's coffee shop? How expensive is their coffee? Very expensive.
Breakfast sandwich is delicious.
And
I can just
pricey.
Yes, yes, it is.
I mean, I'm not calling you out. I mean, obviously I've been there. And I want my lavender mocha thing. Amazing. But I told Mike the other day, I was like, you know, Marty B's lavender mocha is my lovely. You should know.
They have a Nashville.
He lives with somebody who thinks they're funny. I feel bad for him. I think they're funny. So he has to put up with that.
I tell jokes and I'm laughing while I'm telling him, and he's looking at me, he's like, "You really think you're funny?" I'm like, "I'm pretty hilarious."
In my retirement, I'm going to be a comedian. No one's going to come, but I really don't care. I just want you to know that people pay for what they want. Quit thinking that they don't. How many of you have had Veuve Clicquot champagne in your life? If you haven't, I would invite you to have the luxury. It's a luxury item and worth it. I mean, do we pay for what we want? Sure we do. Yes. She's holding Starbucks, not because it's cheap. And yet we, with our services, we immediately go to cheap. Well, everybody's asking me for a discount. Well, you're not offering what they want because they're buying Marty B's lavender mochas. I mean, truth telling, right? They're saving for that Tory Burch. I only know women, I'm sorry guys, but like they're saving money for that Tory Burch purse.
Or sandals.
Or sandals. Everybody has Tory Burch sandals. I mean, it's a thing, right? And so you save for it because you want it. You also want some real estate services, and somehow we're not identifying what those are that they're willing to pay for. We're playing the discount game, and that's the wrong game. Can you tell I talk about this as a brokerage? It's a brokerage. I know y'all can work somewhere cheaper, so I have to be fine. Okay, I thought that was funny. Perfect example. All right. I did not email this to y'all, but I can. This is just my 2022 why to sell your home over the holidays. Because guess what? It's over the holidays. This is a great time for that.
Wait.
She
Yeah.
will send it? Okay.
I'll send it to Rachel and Zoe both so they can have it. And you'll want to make it your own, right? This is just something I've edited through the years to be relevant to the moment. I used to send it out to my office every September 15th and start talking about how to market so that they would list and sell over the holidays. My favorite one is number 12, which is kind of cut off here, but that's because I am bold. I don't have to say the chant. I actually am. And unfortunate truth is many who work part-time in the real estate industry take this time off. There are a lot of blind realtors out there right about now. Well, it's just not a good time. Gonna be a lot better time about January 10th. I'd like to go back to work then. Between now and then, this is what their mind is thinking. They're not thinking about that consumer, not one bit. They're thinking about their own workload. I don't want it. Well, guess what? I do. So you win. It's okay to point out to people that, if part-time realtors don't work past about November 15th, most of them don't come back till January 15th. They don't want to, neither do part-time mortgage people. Well, this is my family time. Well, Grace, mine, I'm still working. Right? This is one of Linda McKissick's very favorite things to talk about. I thought I would just stop because it has impacted me so much in my life. So this has nothing to do with getting listings down. I'm sorry. It's just what I'm preaching about right now. So y'all have to go with me. I think the whole world is burned out. They're tired of church. They're tired of friends. They're tired of, you have to make yourself go and do. I'm getting ready to go to this convention. Venus Williams is speaking. I'm going to be in a cool room with all the top attorneys in real estate. I should be really excited about it, but honestly, when I get there, I'll be fine. But it's you got to make yourself go. And why is that? So I want to tell you, if you're feeling tired, if you're feeling burned out, if you don't know what to do and you couldn't really care less about anything I just said, you may need this little circle here, right? When is the last time that you made a commitment that requires your courage? If you're tired, if you're burned out, if you just don't want to, maybe you need to make a commitment that requires your courage. It doesn't have to be about work. It can be personal. What are you going to promise to do? I always tell the story about promising to take my kids to Hawaii when they were teenagers. I didn't achieve my goals, so we didn't go. I would say that's as bad as my husband has ever been because he always had a good job. We could have afforded it. But I was determined that we would not go and that I would tell my children why. That only ever happened in my life one time. And when we went to Hawaii, just as soon as we could go, we had a hell of a time. I blew the roof off. Some of you are my Facebook friends, and now I do things like New Year's Eve in the Swiss Alps. I have learned my lesson. I set a big goal and I achieve it and I do something fabulous. What are you making a commitment that requires courage? Are you going to learn something? Are you going to do something? Are you going to go somewhere? Because if you're burned out and bored and exhausted, you probably haven't made a commitment that requires your courage in a while. Because what happens is when you do that, it makes your butterflies come. And then you usually have to increase your capabilities in some way. Maybe you just have to get better at managing your schedule. Maybe you have to learn how to jog. Maybe you have to learn how to, eat healthy and cook something. I don't know what you're going to want to do, but usually you have to improve your capabilities in some way. Then you're going to improve your confidence and you're going to show up differently. Because you're beginning to meet this commitment that requires your courage. And the bad news about confidence is the minute you get it, you probably need to do this circle again. You need to make another commitment that requires courage. In my life, so I'm 63 years old, and I have a lot of friends who ask me all the time, when am I going to quit working? When am I going to stop working? And I'm getting really mean in my old age because lately what I've been saying to my fearless friends is, well, good God, all you do is play pickleball. I'm not in a hurry to do that. Jesus Christ. And so there are people that I love, but I'm actually saying you're about as interesting as a rock. You need to get busy. I'm not saying I'm perfect. I'm absolutely not. But this is an awareness issue. It's making a commitment that requires courage so that people want to go on this life journey with you. That is also part of how you attract clients. if you are interesting and growing as a human being, they want to be with you. Right? So I'm going to go to Orlando and I'm going to go in this room with all of these major attorneys who are, it's just high stress in there. But the reason I would be in there is because I will speak my mind. And it appears to be easy when I do that in that situation. It's actually not easy. Because I'm not an attorney, I'm just me. And so this is, I love this, and I'm really all about it right now because it's easy to be too tired and exhausted, to be fun and interesting. You're not going to have a great big business if you're not fun and interesting and on fire for it. So how do you do it?
I think this is really interesting because what I always call that is it's like every once in a while you need to stop and blow your own damn mind. So like you just need to do something that requires a commitment, that is courageous. You have to up your capabilities and then you get that confidence and that, I mean, it's such a great thing when you're like, I just did this and then you got to show up. But when you do it, that the joy and the confidence that you get from just, we're always amazed at other people, but when you get to be amazed at yourself, oof, that's good.
It's so good. One of my, some of you may not know that one of my things I wanted to do in my life was write a book. So I did that a few years ago. It's called Pass the Pig, Leadership by Attraction. And 2 months ago, I got to do a keynote address at a place called Jellyfish, which is a huge technology company full of people who can't possibly be 30. So it was a very intimidating moment in my life. What a cool moment to have made a commitment to write a book, which took at least a year, really 13 months, and made a commitment to market it enough to do some of the things I need to do. Chris, that's exactly what you're talking about. It's just the cool feeling of, I did that. Yeah. I did it. I didn't want to do it. Oh, I actually did it. So awesome. It is such a great moment. So I just want to give you a shove and I want you to talk about this kind of stuff, right? Because the world needs us. The world needs each of us to show up smart and strong and on fire for life and for what we do. Because the whole of this world is hell real estate. I mean, really, pick it up. I think Linda would be proud of me because
She
I'm.
would, and what she would say is there's a fifth C. It's complacency after confidence.
Mm.
So most oftentimes people will just hover in the complacency place and they won't take their next commitment. So when part of my story is the reason why I took the team leader job was this. Like Linda and I were talking through the 4 C's and when this opportunity came up, I was like, oh, this is a big commitment. It's going to take a lot of courage. And so this changed. I mean, I'm actively walking out this right now.
Well, and I just think we're at such a danger zone as people. That's not a political statement. It's just we're all tired. We're all worn out. We're all on our last nerve. We're all suing each other, whatever. This will help, All right. I want us to all take a deep breath. It's 12:20. We're doing great. I am right on time. I want us to talk about a 2-1 buy down. Jeremy, Amanda, Sam are here because they offer a great 2-1 buy down and a free refinance if you refinance within the first 2 years. It is a great thing. So this is how it works. I'm actually going to kind of go through this. This is Jeremy sent me this email because I'm not all that smart and I need it spelled out like really clearly. So Jeremy, I'm going to kind of read it and then are y'all going to hand these out? That's great. Okay. And I'm not just a commercial for AMCAP, but in this case, I kind of am because I don't know other people that are doing that combination, that are doing such a great job educating on a 2-1 buy down and offering a free refinance if you do it in the first 2 years. That combo to me is super powerful. So Jeremy saw in MLS that the seller is offering $7,500 to assist with an interest rate buy down or closing costs or a $7,500 price reduction. The seller will do $7,500 of something for you. Okay, before you read all the answer, what should the seller do with the $7,500? What?
I say pocket. Use it for your closing costs. Pull the couch.
Okay, I don't understand that answer.
Say it again. I
Okay.
What do you do with the $7,500?
So the seller is offering you $7,500 in closing costs. How do you use that? Do you get a price reduction? Do you do a 2-1 buy down, a temporary buy down? Do you do closing costs? Do you do a permanent buy down?
I think it depends on what they, depends on what their financial situation. What do they need, lower mortgage payment right now today? Do they need, what do they need? They need to know.
So I'm going to show you what he told me because I think it's so powerful, just what the math is. So I've been teaching this quite a bit. I was in Arlington the other day and everybody said a price reduction. I was like, oh my God, you're just wrong. That is so scary. You're all just wrong. So I mean, that's just not the right answer. And I'm going to show you why. It's just not the right answer. So it's not the right answer for anybody, regardless of their financial. Jeremy.
It could.
See, this is what working with, he's brave. He's brave enough to say it could be. All right, so this is the case. $450,000 price, loan amount $295. Option 1, take $7,500 off of that price, saves you $39 a month. Okay, that's the math. Option 2, take $7,500 to a 2-1 buy down. Now, the other thing that people said was, oh, we don't like ARMs. I said, okay, well, the reason you wouldn't like ARMs is because it's going to go higher than what it is now, and that's not what a 2-1 buy down is. Okay, hear me say, a 2-1 buy down means the base rate of 7.25, the cost of the buy down is $69.15. So it doesn't cost the whole $7,500. So they have $584 to apply to an appraisal or whatever else they want. Okay, the payment drops in the first year by $381. Now I'm throwing it. $381 a month. The payment the second year drops by $195 a month. In the third year, it goes back to its normal 7.25. It doesn't ever go up. It's not an ARM. It's a 2-1 buy down, okay? So
Oh. I'm just understanding when the two. Yeah.
thank you.
See, I'm telling you, it takes me a while.
No, it takes everybody a while. I mean, Jeremy probably won't have, I mean, I've emailed you like 5 times about this same issue. Because I couldn't quite get there. Well, what about now? Okay, well, here you go. Well, what about now? Well, okay. Here you go. I mean, this is the math. It's actually quite stunning what the math is. So that $7,500 that the seller was able to give you, right? These first 2 ways you use it right away because it's using it as a credit off of your mortgage payment and you're using it to pay some of the closing costs. The third way, rate buy down at closing. So this is a permanent buy down. They're buying down the rate forever. So that drops the rate to 6.375 for the life of the loan, saving them $146 for the life of the loan every month. Takes 51 months to break even. I've got $7,500. Okay, I probably should let y'all ask questions. And Jeremy and Sam and Amanda are here because I'm going to mess it up.
I always think, so I had someone do this when I bought the house that I just currently bought. And I hadn't even thought of it. But they said, why don't you have them run I don't know what they called it, but to see, does it make sense to buy your rate down? Which I still wasn't gonna be happy with, and even if I bought it down, I was still gonna refinance. And how long it would take me to recoup my money, and they showed me, okay, if you can refinance within 24 months, it's still cheaper to buy it's like, I just saved the money, so I kept that additional cash, didn't buy my rate down because I could still afford the payment. And then, but I don't know what they did some magic, and then they showed me a number, like if you refinance within 24 months, it's still cheaper to do it that way. I was like, oh, okay, perfect. And it made it easier for me to make that commitment. Now, I wouldn't have been able to figure out how they did that. But if you have a good relationship with your loan officer, they should be able to do that for your client. And then it's not us figuring it out. It's somebody.
Oh, I
who's
don't
smarter.
want to
Yeah,
figure it
yeah,
out. I definitely don't want to. What I want to be able to do, though, is to interest people in offering that credit instead of a price reduction. Here's what I'm gonna tell you why. And you're allowed to disagree with me, but I'm up for a good fight. A good conversation. Never scares me away. I am not all about price reductions right now, unless they're gonna be big enough. So there's an unless to attract an entirely different set of eyes. So if you lower a price from 300 to 297, I don't really think you're attracting one more looker, not one. I don't think if you're at 300 and you go down $6,000, which is probably about enough to pay for a buy down at that point, I still don't think you're attracting new eyes. But if you could lower their payment and offer them a free refinance during the first 2 years, that might attract some buyers. So I think that's where we have to be smart enough. I don't have to know how to do the math really. I need somebody who's going to do it for me so that I can explain that enough to say, well, we will lower the price. We agree, we will. And or we'll do one of these other options because that's what my seller is going to do. And I think the free refi within the first 2 years is really significant. I don't believe these interest rates will stay where they are. I mean, we started talking and I said, I think, the Fed's just dumb. They haven't figured out yet that even a 10% interest rate isn't going to slow down consumption the way they think it's going to, because we have supply side problems. So when we have supply side problems, the prices are going to continue to go up, and we're still going to have to buy something. I mean, we have to go to the store to acquire something. So I think they're going to be disappointed in the results. So, and I think lenders are going to have to get aggressive. They're going to have to lower, something, or else they're not going to have any closings. So they're going to have to be aggressive with what they're doing. I think that's what you're seeing with this, is them offering to refinance it, and
What's the lender fee cost? Okay, this is the part that I always get confused on, and I should know this better. So what does that actually equate to? So what cost would they have associated with no lender?
And we have a couple of full-time partners that are waiving extra fees as well, partners with us.
so how much is that?
I'm wanting to, well, yeah.
I don't know. I mean, is it?
It's a savings of about $2,200, where your closing costs would typically be around $4,500 on a $400,000 refinance.
So they're still paying for appraisal and all that stuff.
That's how.
That's
what I say.
Yeah, 50% off the title policy.
50% off the title. So that's through not that lawyers in the
National.
national. Yeah. So I don't know if everybody's doing that, but it's a great question for you to ask your
Well,
partners.
the title policy itself is the RA credit, so that's state regulated. That's gonna be half
Yeah,
for any title company, but they're waiving the escrow fee.
it's gonna be half state regulated, half, because you're doing it within 2 years.
Yep.
Has that always been
It tiers
true?
down, yep. Well, it increased,
I thought I knew everything.
but you can't close and charge more than that, so you're already getting the regulated fee. make a mistake or be
All
overcharged.
about the marketing. I did not know that. Krista, did you know that?
I actually did because we talked to a lender and she's like, but yes. So
Good for you.
I actually did, because I'm like, I do not understand what any of this is, so please come in. You know, we've actually talked to two, just be like, because I'm like, gotta explain, just, let's hear it from different people, hear if it sounds the same.
Absolutely.
Just, we want to keep hearing it so we can keep talking about it, and it's just like melds all over us.
Well, that's it. I think that's what I'm trying to say. I don't want you to do the math, but I want you to be comfortable talking about it. That's
Well,
exactly right.
and that stuff's game changing with the discussion. It ups your level of communication and how you're coming across to the client. And this particular guy, he's selling land, he's gonna have some income come in a short period of time. We're gonna do a recast. Option 3 would be awful for him. He'd never get the recoup of it. $146 a month. And we're basically only taking it for a few months, then reducing the loan amount down to 145. So we did all kinds of different stuff for him. In his case, it made sense to take the $7,500 one because very rare, but
It's
again,
okay. It's okay to tell me I'm wrong.
I
I'm
just want
living
to
with it.
say that everything, the only right answer is it depends with everything.
So did all of you understand what he's talking about, recasting a loan too? Yeah, I suspect. So tell what that is. That's great conversation.
That is it's not a refinance, but it's taking the current term of the loan, applying a lump sum towards it, so you've got a new loan balance, and amortizing it over the remaining life of the original loan. So if you're 6 months into a 30-year mortgage, you've got 354 months left. And you got a lump sum of inheritance, and you want to reduce that from 300 down to 200. You're going to take 200, amortize it over the remaining life of the current loan. It costs about $300, and you lower your payment.
Jimmy, is there an amount that you have to lower it by?
It's regulated a little bit different, so that it's called the curtailment amount. It's regulated different by all the servicers. I think the highest one requirement is like 20,000. The highest one, the highest fee associated with it's about 350.
So the reason why you would do that lump sum, just so that I can understand it, is versus just saying, I'm always like, I want to hold on to my cash. Like for me, and I guess it's just being self-employed, you're like, you never know what's coming, you should always hold on to our cash. So, but if you, let's say you weren't like that and you took that money, why would you do it that way versus just keeping your cash and paying extra, you know, like just paying extra each month?
Well, you're taking that lump sum way down, so what you're amortizing going forward off of that point, you're gonna save a ton of interest by doing it in lump sum versus monthly. It's still any extra payments monthly, you're gaining in if you make $1 extra payment, that amortization you got at closing, the whole thing's wrong.
Okay,
If you made $1 extra one time, like it, because it forwards every single piece of every single year.
Okay.
But the bigger lump sum that you can make is going to make a much greater impact than just paying an extra, $300 or $400 a month.
and let's just say on the off chance you have a PMI payment, if you did a lump sum and then it dropped you below the whatever, 20% or whatever that thing is, then you get to get rid of your PMI in addition to the.
Drop your PMI and do a recast, re-amortize it.
Is that something that's commonly discussed? Because it sounds
No.
like when people want to drop their PMI, they try to do a lot, and I've not heard that being.
Right, well, if you call a lender, they're gonna send you to the sales side and they're gonna try to do a refinance, and that's how we make money.
Right, yeah.
So it's not as discussed, but it's financially leveling up your
Yeah.
discussion, for sure.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And right now, you don't want to refinance anybody because they're in its current, their current rate's better. Take care of them, give them these types of advice, and then when rates come back down, they decide, you know what, we are gonna buy a second home. You do a cash out on that home, we do another, I mean, it all revolves into, it's just another tool that we use. And
Okay, I'm gonna ask another question. These are all selfish questions. I'm just gonna put that up there. So what if you're, so if you want to recast, how long do you have to do a recast? Anytime, you do it anytime in your life.
After you make your first payment to your service.
you have to make 3 payments.
Three cases,
Yeah,
payments.
some of them are one, but I tell everybody that closes, we don't know who we're gonna sell the loan to, and who's gonna become the servicer. So 3 payments have to be made, and then you can make some payment of anywhere between, it depends on who the servicer is, but if you're gonna at least make like 25,000.
So if you're making a lump sum, are they looking at all at your value of your home? So like if you know your value's gone up and you're making a lump sum, so you could say, okay, this isn't really enough to drop me below 20%, but then you look at the value plus the cash that I'm putting down. You can't add them together. You've got to have enough to make.
Possibly, I mean, that's a different form, because you're specifically going through just the recast, but at the same time, you could do the dropping BMI. Because the 20%, the only reason that you're gonna, that threshold matters is because of the. But you can do those at the same time.
Okay, but you could do it where you're counting on the value, like you know the value of your home has appreciated in whatever in the time.
And we a lot of times see recast when somebody, buys before they sell, and then they sell their homes and then take their proceeds. and they-
Say that again.
So when somebody buys before they sell,
Yes.
then when they sell their home, and they take the proceeds from the sale and recast them in the home.
So they don't have to totally refinance. This is,
And like you said, it's like $300.
It's super cheap,
It's
yeah.
super cheap.
So I did this years ago for my dad. He's a really tough customer.
Yes.
Everybody on the team has known all of the transactions. But the servicer, we did the application, and then the servicer had sold his loan to another servicer. While we were doing, like, 4 days after we put the application in for the recast. So it's not always a perfect world, but I will always stay alongside the client and make sure that it gets done. Because that stuff happens. Where loads, and right now, there's a lot of loads being sold in the secondary market that maybe you've been paying Wells Fargo or PayMac or somebody for the last 3 years. A lot of those are rearranging right now because servicing portfolios and requirements of asset reserves and mortgage companies are changing. And there is a ton of very consistent loans that are all of a sudden being sold to change servicing.
such a great time to be in business with somebody smart. Just somebody who can have conversations with your clients that are different than, well, this week. So when I first got into real estate, right, I told my clients, I thought I was ever so smart to teach them to do apples to apples. You just want the cheapest interest rate. And then after a little while, I realized actually who we want to talk to is smart people who understand a variety of products and a variety, and also have competitive rates. But mostly I want everybody that I work with, everybody that I know and love in real estate to talk to somebody smart on the lending side. Because what he's talking about recasting is a wealth thing. That's a wealth building thing. So when I'm gonna offer to my clients to do a wealth review with my favorite clients, my top clients, maybe I want Jeremy and Sam and Amanda to put something together that I can discuss with them about whether they should recast their loan. Nobody else is helping your people that way. So when they get that open door will buy your house in the mailbox, they're gonna be less likely to do that without talking to you first if you're providing that level of service, right? Okay, that's awesome. Do y'all have other questions about? Okay, so I just wanted to come back to the fact, I want your mindset to understand, there are lots of people out there that need to go from an old life to a new life, and that involves a new house. It involves change. And so don't be fearful. There's so much great stuff you can be doing to make sure that your people know that you can help them. whatever transition they're going through. All right, ask questions, that's it.
Hopefully good.
That was
Thank
helpful.
you.
Oh, you're
Yes.
very welcome. And
Yes.
just thank you to AMCAP for being here because I sort of, I want them when I'm out teaching because they are able to go with whatever smart conversation you're having. So if you don't have someone smart on your team, you should insist on that.
For the retest stuff, I did not know that. So that was really, really good information.
Awesome. It is. All right, if you didn't have lunch, Let me know what else I can do for you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, that was fun. Oh,
I'd be there.
thank you. Thank you. What's that? That makes me feel good. Well, there's this.
Oh, right. No, I'm not laughing. It's the ones that, it's the jokes that don't land and you go, well, I thought that was funny. And then I'm gonna die laughing. Like, that's almost sometimes better than that. Like, thank you so much.
Oh, yeah, you're welcome.
No. Carrie and Aaron are. So they, has another. She did go ahead.
Oh, are you?